The debate on modernizing the French army has become more urgent than ever as Europe enters a period marked by instability, accelerated rearmament, and a return to high-intensity warfare. Within this context, France has chosen a clear direction: to build a force that is mobile, survivable, digitally connected, and capable of delivering decisive effects across multiple domains. The Scorpion program is at the center of this transformation, and among its pillars, the Griffon vehicle has emerged as a defining symbol of the future army. With the arrival of the Griffon MEPAC, a new mortar carrier variant equipped with a 120mm system, France is introducing a capability that does not simply replace existing assets, but reshapes the tactical philosophy of close and medium-range fire support. The Griffon MEPAC is built on the same 6x6 chassis as the baseline Griffon, which has already begun replacing the aging VAB fleet across the force. However, MEPAC represents more than a mobility upgrade. It integrates a protected crew compartment, a digitally networked fire control system, and an automated or semi-automated loading mechanism designed to dramatically reduce the time between receiving a fire mission and delivering rounds. In essence, it blends the mobility of an armored personnel carrier with the lethality of modern indirect fire systems. These qualities give MEPAC a role that fills a critical gap between traditional infantry mortars and the heavy artillery delivered by systems such as Caesar. Recent conflicts, especially the war in Ukraine, have highlighted the premium placed on speed, survivability, and precision in indirect fires. Mortar units that can shoot and scoot in seconds are far less vulnerable to counter battery fire. Forces that rely on towed systems or dismounted teams face higher risks and slower response times. These lessons are not theoretical observations. They shape procurement decisions across NATO, and France is positioning itself ahead of the curve by prioritizing mobility and digital integration at the tactical level. MEPAC embodies the transition to a force where fire support is not a centralized, slow-moving asset, but an integral part of every maneuver element. One of the most transformative aspects of MEPAC is its integration into SIX, the digital combat information and command system deployed under the Scorpion umbrella. SIX allows vehicles and soldiers to share real-time situational data, enabling rapid coordination between sensors, decision-makers, and fire support units. Within this ecosystem, MEPAC can receive fire missions directly from reconnaissance platforms, drones, forward observers, or even sister vehicles such as Jaguar and Serval. The result is a dramatically compressed kill chain. Threats can be detected, validated, and neutralized in a fraction of the time required by legacy systems. This degree of interoperability also carries profound implications for joint and coalition operations. France and Belgium are increasingly synchronizing their modernization pathways under the CAMO program, which aims to ensure that French and Belgian armored units can fight as one. The adoption of Griffon-based systems, including future MEPAC units, strengthens this convergence. As Belgium continues to expand its fleet, including the recent decision to acquire an additional 92 Griffon vehicles, the industrial and operational synergy between Paris and Brussels will deepen, creating a wider market and a stronger European defense posture. From an industrial perspective, the development of MEPAC reinforces the health of France's land systems sector. Nexter, Arquus, and Thales all contribute to the Scorpion architecture, and each new variant adds long-term stability to the production chain. In an era where European nations are moving to rebuild stockpiles, reconstitute armored units, and acquire equipment with higher survivability and automation, France's ability to offer a complete family of interoperable vehicles is strategically valuable. The export success of Griffon and its variants will not only support national industry, but also reinforce France's strategic influence within Europe. Public sentiment in France toward the Griffon family, and particularly toward practical additions such as MEPAC, has generally been positive. The French public tends to support modernization efforts when they produce tangible improvements in safety, efficiency, and combat effectiveness, as opposed to abstract long-term programs whose results may be difficult to measure. MEPAC offers a visible, concrete enhancement to frontline units. It signals that modernization is not just a bureaucratic plan, but a reality that improves the survivability of soldiers. Nevertheless, discussions continue about the long-term costs of maintaining a large fleet of advanced armored vehicles. As with any major military program, Scorpion generates questions about the balance between ambition, budget, and urgency. While these concerns are legitimate, most defense analysts in France agree that the strategic context of Europe justifies sustained investment. To illustrate the operational impact of MEPAC, consider a scenario where a mechanized infantry company must advance through a semi-urban environment. Traditionally, mortar teams would deploy outside the vehicle, set up the tube, calculate firing data, complete the mission, and then displace. Each phase exposes the crew to threats and consumes valuable time. With MEPAC, the mortar remains mounted and protected. The crew receives firing instructions through the digital network, executes the mission within moments, and then moves to a new firing point before the enemy can respond. This agility allows maneuver units to maintain momentum, exploit breakthroughs, and sustain pressure on opposing forces. In high-tempo operations, such capabilities can determine whether a unit seizes the initiative or becomes fixed and vulnerable. Despite its strengths, MEPAC is not without challenges. Its weight and size require appropriate infrastructure and trained maintenance personnel. Full exploitation of its digital systems demands that the wider force be equally modernized. Isolated pockets of advanced technology cannot compensate for gaps in network integration. France will also need to monitor operational feedback once the first batches enter service, particularly regarding reliability, crew workload, and ammunition logistics. These are manageable issues, but they reflect the broader reality that modernization is a continuous process rather than a single procurement milestone. Looking toward the period from 2030 to 2035, the introduction of MEPAC contributes to a coherent vision of a French army that is more agile, more networked, and more resilient. When combined with platforms such as Jaguar and Serval, as well as ongoing investments in drones, sensors, and electronic warfare capabilities, MEPAC strengthens the ability of French units to operate across multiple domains and cooperate seamlessly with allies. The shift toward dispersed, mobile, sensor-rich formations is already underway across NATO. France is positioning itself not just to keep pace, but to help lead. In conclusion, the Griffon MEPAC represents more than an incremental improvement. It is a necessary evolution in how France conceives and deploys firepower at the tactical level. It enhances soldier protection, accelerates decision-making, and increases the precision and responsiveness of indirect fire. It also embodies the broader transformation of the French army as it adapts to a rapidly changing strategic environment. Public expectations for effective modernization are high, and MEPAC delivers visible progress that aligns with those expectations. As France continues to refine its force structure, invest in digital capabilities, and strengthen cooperation with European partners, systems like MEPAC will play a central role in shaping the army of the future.